I welcome each one of you for this cooperative auditors training program organized by District Deputy Registrar 1, Mumbai 1, where Honorable Shri Nitin Kale is the District Deputy Registrar. Then along with him, we also kept in the panelist Shri Rajesh Loekar, who is the Deputy Registrar, D Ward. So both of them have come. So I request both of you to come on the dais. Similarly, Gautam Chatterjee sir, who is the chief guest of the day, who is the former Maharera chairman. Earlier to that, he was the housing secretary, and prior to that, he was the CEO and VP of MADA and CEO VP of SRA. So therefore, he has a wide experience, and of course, additional commissioner and Jilla Parishad, all that Thana Jilla. He was a CEO in Thana Jilla Parishad. So many posts he has held in the government, and after retirement, he was the first RERA chairperson, Maharera, and he has done a lot of drastic changes in the RERA, and all other states have followed the footsteps of Maharera. So welcome him with a round of applause, and let us hear from him as to what way forward he is looking for the redevelopment of the housing societies and the SRAs and MADA and such buildings in Mumbai. Welcome you, sir, and the cooperation that we require from the cooperative department.
Just now, in his short introduction, Mr. Nitin Kale just pointed out to you as to what is the universal set we are talking about. He talked about 40,000 housing societies in Mumbai, is Greater Mumbai, about 6,000 odd in city of Mumbai, and the remaining in the suburbs. And apart from this, of course, there are the SRAs, which are proposed societies become cooperative societies. There are the societies which get formed through the MADA, and therefore over the years we have seen that these two departments of the government of Maharashtra, housing and cooperation, have worked very closely, especially when we talk about housing cooperatives and how do we take it forward. And it is in that context only, in my several years that I spent in the housing department, I have had opportunity to work with Nitin, Rajesh, all of them, because I was in SRA, where I had the good fortune of getting the inputs from the cooperative department, people like them. In MADA also, I was the vice president. We had a two-person station directly from the cooperation department. So I have had long association with this department, and the two departments have been working hand in hand to take this issue forward. Now, of course, we have talked about 40,000 societies which are there, more societies coming up through the SRA and other projects. But then we have to understand that these are all societies which are constructing houses, which are civil construction works, which have a expiry date. Okay, so they cannot survive beyond 30-40 years. Some, in fact, if the quality of construction is not that good, even much before that, they show signs of dilapidation. And that is why over the last few years we have seen that both housing and cooperation department have been talking about how do we deal with this subject. Of course, cessed buildings which he talked about of 19,000 in the city of Mumbai are the very old buildings of 40s and 50s. They are certainly old and they are dilapidated every year during the monsoon. Even this year monsoon, we keep our fingers crossed. Some building is going to crash and some people may lose their lives. But then this is something which happens with the cessed buildings. Over a period of time, we will find that out of these 40,000 cooperatives which are there, there will be buildings, if they are not taken up for redevelopment in time or retrofitting in time, everything need not be redeveloped. There could also be retrofitting, but that also costs money, and there are problems of housing societies to get money to do a retrofitting. But then for redevelopment, since the government GRs have talked about giving extra incentive FSI to a developer-led redevelopment, therefore there is a tendency among housing societies to try and find the right developer, the right project management consultant, the right legal professional, the right auditor, the financial expert who will guide as to how do I go about. So one is that the universal set is large. as we go ahead in the decades to come, we will see that dilapidation is catching up faster than we can actually deal with it, and therefore there is need to speed up the effort that is there existing today from the government side. Now, if that effort has to be speeded up, then this question came when about few months back Mr. Prabhu came to me to say, sir, with your experience of these years, will you not give it back to the society? Because the society needs, and there is a need to actually people from society to come forward and strengthen the arms of the government to see how we can push it forward. The government GRs are there of 2019, which talks about how to redevelopment take place. Both the housing department and the corporation department have come up with GRs. But the fact remains is 40,000, around 10,000 are in very difficult situation, which actually took the step that we should go ahead and do redevelopment and have got stuck somewhere. Now, in my last assignment as founder chairman of MahaRERA, we were dealing with this because RERA essentially was brought in this real estate sector essentially to tackle this problem of removing information asymmetry, bringing in transparency, trying to see that the projects get completed in time. But then there was a problem because all redevelopments right from day one were not getting covered under RERA. Because RERA gives a registration to a project only after the building which is for sale has got the commencement certificate from the planning authority, which is the BMC in case of Mumbai. Now, the commencement certificate is issued by a planning authority only when the land on which the building is to come up has got cleared. Now, when we are talking about a brownfield project is a redevelopment where there is existing tenants, existing society members. Unless those society members vacate the land, go to an alternate accommodation, demolish the building, the land is not cleared, and therefore the CC or the commencement certificate will not be issued by the BMC. And therefore the project is not ripe enough to be brought to RERA to get it registered. And unless a project gets registered, that information asymmetry or the transparency doesn't come in. Once a project gets registered, then all the information about the project gets displayed in the web portal of MahaRERA. But if it's not registered, it doesn't come. And that is the problem that is there in housing society redevelopment. Society number one has, of course, inadequate knowledge about what are the procedures that I should actually go to in order to go through the process of redevelopment. Number two is that it's not a very homogeneous body. It's a democratic body, all right, has majority taking decisions, but then it has to be that majority should be more than 80-90%, so that the dissenting members are very few who can be convinced that they don't dissent. We have to take the process forward. Now, these initial steps that the society has to take, holding the special general body meeting, taking a decision whether they should go for redevelopment or not, getting the proper advice about the feasibility report, whether I should go for this section of development control promotion regulation or the other section, who is going to guide me. All these things are some things which the society is always struggling to find, and therefore that we identified as a gap, that the society does not have full information and knowledge. Society does not know which is the professional whom I should approach, how should I approach, do I have information on that. And this is not only for the feasibility report which an architect prepares, it will also be for the various legal documents that he requires, for preparing various types of agreements that he has to do with the developer or with the others. It's also regarding whether the finances that I have, the financial feasibility report which a chartered accountant can guide him. So there are whole host of professionals who would be required to guide that society. So the point came in is that if this is missing today, if this information asymmetry exists in society, as we have done in the case of RERA for buildings which are coming out for registration under RERA, but before that, if this information asymmetry has to be removed, what is the best way of doing it? And then we came up through discussion with various stakeholders is the best thing would be that if we form a body which is not for profit, but it's a legal entity, and it's a body which consists of all stakeholders. And who are the stakeholders? Stakeholders are the housing federation, under whom all the housing societies are there. The stakeholder would be the developers association, under whom the developers function. Stakeholder would be PETA, under whom the practicing architects and engineers function. The chartered accountants association or the other bodies to which you owe allegiance, that would be another stakeholder. So these stakeholder institutions or associations, they should come together to form a body which is a non-profit body, so that one can say that this is a stakeholders body. And once that body is formed, that body can then reach out to its members. You reach out, the Association of Chartered Accountants, to its members, individual chartered accountants, that here we can create a e-market, in the sense that all cooperative societies would be then reached out to, saying that you are looking for the right person. If you actually enroll yourself or enlist in this GRSC portal, you will be having access to all the chartered accountants who are there, who are willing to give you the service with their levels of experience, which will be captured through due diligence to see if the right person with the right credibility is there enlisted in that portal. The legal professionals, you would have heard of something like Practo, where I am looking for a doctor, which type of doctor, the orthopedic, the ophthalmic, I will be able to find in my area, at what rate, with what experience, with what rating he has got information. If that is available, why can't we borrow that and bring it in this GRSC? So in GRSC, if the society gets that, then I think he is best placed where his information asymmetry is removed. He then can make the right choice, an informed choice, that yes, this will be the right chartered accountant for me, who will guide me financially. This will be the right project management consultant for me. I can either go directly to him, or I can go through a tendering process. This will be the right legal professional for me, and so on and so forth. And even for developer, he goes through a tendering process. But before the tendering, he should shortlist who are the right type of developers, who will not actually leave me halfway and then I am stranded. This is for people who are looking for the right type of person. This portal can also help people who have already taken a decision which turned out to be a nightmarish one. The decision was taken, some steps you went ahead, and then you got stuck. As he mentioned, maybe 10,000 such projects. God knows how many. We still don't have that information. Why can't we bring them also into this portal, enlist them, and try to understand where did it get stuck? And is there a way about? Can we actually either remove that person who is causing some bottleneck there? Can we take it to an alternate dispute resolution mechanism through mediation? Because mediation today is also an order of the day. There is a Mediation Act in place. So can this portal also serve as that? So what the portal can do, portal is something which is created by the stakeholders themselves, their bodies, number one. It actually brings out through standard operating procedures what are the procedures required to go through the whole process of redevelopment in detail, so that you explain to people. 3, it gives you the details of all the professionals with due diligence done of with credibility, whom you can approach, and then thereafter take the process forward. You can further use tech enabled monitoring of the projects to see that the project does not get stuck. And if, God forbid, if the project gets stuck, you try and bring in the mediation method to start with to resolve the problem. If not, then obviously there are the quasi-judicial bodies like the deputy district registrars or even the courts where you can take the process. But then we have seen from my personal experience in Maharera that 60-70% of the cases, 6-7 out of 10 cases, wherever there is a dispute, can get resolved if you can bring the disputing parties on the table and talk to them. So if that happens, we have a feeling that if out of 10,000 projects which have got stuck, even if suppose we are able to take out 3, 4, 5,000, and for the new projects out of the 30-40,000 which are to come up over the next decade, if we are able to give them this guidance, I think we would have done a great service to society. So that's how it is, Nitinji. This is what we are taking it forward. We really feel that this is something which is very innovative, and this actually is the first time being attempted by bringing stakeholders together who feel that yes, we should join hands, and we sincerely hope, we are discussing with the powers that be, that the government also recognizes this effort and says that yes, please go ahead, we are with you. I'll stop here for